PFF is running one of their biggest sales ever. 40% off a PFF Plus subscription right now using the promo code BLACKFRIDAY. That means that you get everything fully unlocked. You get the grades, you get the stats, you get all the fantasy advice, the betting advice, which our new player prop tool is available on web as well to make you a smarter, better. You've got all of the draft analysis, the free agency analysis, all of that great stuff. Subscribe.pff.com to get 40% off a year-long PFF Plus subscription. Get it now. Denver Broncos traveling to Washington to take on the Commanders. Both these teams had byes last week. I know the Commanders and the Broncos did. So both of these teams, yes, coming off of the bye week from last week, also getting a little bit of extra rest, playing on Sunday Night Football, playing on prime time here. I'll start, Dalton, and this run game with the Denver Broncos, to me, has to be better. J.K. Dobbins goes down with the injury. Bo Nix has played well, but I still think there's some hot and cold to Bo Nix as well, right? Like the previous game that they had against the Chiefs, he had some big time throws in that game, and you love to see it. But we've also watched very similar situations where Nix has just been a little bit off of a deep ball, just a little bit outside where his wide receivers could get it. So I think that inconsistency is just going to exist throughout this season. And with that, I think you'll need to lean into the run game more than they've been able to, or at least have some better return on investments than they've had over the last couple of weeks. When you look at R.J. Harvey, over the last 3 weeks, he has not had, or last 3 games, I should say, because they were on the bye last week, but he has not had a single game where he has averaged more than 3 yards a carry. Like, that's 3 yards per carry is like the floor. Like, you got to be higher than that if you want to be somebody who is making an impact on the game, efficient as a runner, making the most out of their yards per carry, and making the most out of the times that they touch the football. And right now, they are not balanced enough to do that. And for as much as I have faith in Bo Nix to have the talent to hit basically any throw that you need him to have, does he have that consistency yet? I still am a little bit hesitant to say that he is. I think he's just going to be a little bit of that hot and cold quarterback this season. And in the games where he's a little bit colder, you got to feel better about taking some of the load off of his shoulders and handing it off to the guys in the backfield. And I think R.J. Harvey obviously has to be the guy to do that with J.K. Dobbins' injury. So that yards per carry average is really what I wanted to point out, to say it's got to be more balanced. Or I think that there's a game or two that they could lose down the stretch that their talent or their ceiling as a team would tell you that they would not. So I think that's got to be a lot better for Denver. But what do you think about Washington's side of things?
I'm going to talk about a similar subject here with the run game. And look, Marcus Mariota's probably going to play again. It looks like Terry McLaurin's got a shot to play, which ironically I do think could help the run game, because McLaurin's the one vertical threat in the passing game that can back safeties off a little bit. That's what I've seen all year from the Commanders' offense, is when McLaurin's not on the field, everything is too squeezed in from a defense. Everybody's in the box loading up to stop the run. And you've seen that in their last 6 games, okay? They ran the ball okay against the Miami Dolphins, but you look at their last 6 games, design carries, 3.6 yards per rush. That's not going to get it done. This Cliff Kingsbury offense needs to be able to run the football, create explosive runs, create yards after contact. Since that point also, the Commanders are 28th in rushing grade. They are 27th in explosive run rate. Look in that same time frame for the Denver Broncos, and they often use 5 defensive linemen on the field to really stunt things early in plays. Run defense grade 4th, and just a 3.4% explosive run rate allowed. Imagine that, Trevor. 1 out of every 30 runs is going for 10-plus yards against the Denver Broncos since Week 6. The Commanders have to find a way to run the football. You do not want to be throwing into this Denver secondary with or without Patrick Surtain, because they've been really good recently, even in spite of his injury. So I think, again, the Commanders we talk about this a lot, they got to find a way to run the football. They got to find a way to set up their offense and set up Mariota in good down and distance situations, especially then once you turn over this Broncos defense into their pass rush, which has been arguably the best in football this year. You have a real problem. The Commanders have to find some way to run the football on this Denver defense.
I still lean Denver here. I'm going Denver 27-17 is my final score, but what do you have in this one?
Same spread, a few more points. I have it 30-20. I just think this Commanders secondary, I think, we've seen Bo Nix be up and down this year, but I thought he played arguably his best game of the year against the Kansas City Chiefs, and this Commanders secondary is still a mess, even coming out of their bye week. So I'm going to take Denver on the road as well.